So we're in an era where PC peripherals are so cheap that you can get a decent wireless keyboard or mouse for around $40, which spec-wise can go head-to-head with the massively expensive peripherals. And we got one right here. This is the Solakaka SK961 and the SM800. And these products are currently averaging a 4.2 star review on Amazon. So in this video, we're going for a quick overview of these products and compare them with the other peripherals I have laying around and see if those reviews make sense. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Today's video sponsor is GVG Mall. They are your one-stop shop for Windows operating system CD keys and Microsoft Office CD keys. Being a PC builder, I'm always in need of operating system CD keys, and I personally buy those CD keys on GVG Mall. And they're currently running an 11/11 sale this November, which can save you up to 88% off on specific items. But here's a special offer for our viewers. Use our code JEGS on your checkout to save another 25% off your purchase. Their items are 100% legit, and they offer 24/7 support on their website. Check them out in the description below. Let's start off with the unboxing. The SM800 comes in this sturdy cardboard box wrapped in plastic. Opening the box, you're immediately greeted by the mouse. Underneath the mouse are the accessories, which includes a grip tape, manual, and the charging cables. The mouse is inside a plastic pouch, and overall the packaging is very decent and doesn't feel cheap. Moving on to the SK961. The keyboard also comes in a cardboard box, which can be opened by pulling the latch up front. Upon opening, you're immediately greeted by the keyboard itself, which is tucked in between these foams to secure it in place. Underneath are the accessories, which includes the charging cables, a cleaning cloth and keycap switch pullers, 4 pieces of extra switches, and the manuals. Overall, the packaging of the keyboard is pretty standard. As for the dimensions and specs, here's the exact dimensions of the SM800. The SM800 supports 3 connection modes: wireless 2.4 GHz, Bluetooth, and wired connection, which can be switched by clicking this button at the bottom. At the other side is the power switch, but the mouse automatically goes to sleep after 10 minutes of inactivity, so I doubt you'll be using that power switch often. The SM800 claims to weigh 56 grams give or take, but the results were different when I weighed it, and we'll get to that a little bit later. The SM800 uses KLGM 8.0 switches, Pixar 3359 sensors, and is powered by a 600 mAh battery, which claims can power this mouse for around 5 to 7 days on regular usage and around 7 to 10 days on light usage. The SM800 has 2 programmable buttons at the side and an on-the-fly DPI adjuster above the scroll wheel, which can also be programmed through their software. At the front of the mouse are 2 LEDs, which also can be programmed to indicate current DPI settings or different light effects. And finally, this mouse already uses a Type-C connector, which is a big plus considering some high-end mouse still uses a micro USB connector. Moving on to the SK961. This is a 61-key mechanical, hot-swappable RGB keyboard, and it also supports 3 types of connection: 2.4 GHz wireless, Bluetooth, and wired connection. It only weighs at around 454 grams with a very compact form factor. It uses OOTEMU switches rated for 50 million clicks. And since this is a red switch, there's only a 2mm travel actuation and actuation force of 50 grams. For the battery, it's powered by a 1850 mAh battery, which claims to power the keyboard by as much as 124 hours without LEDs and 18 hours with full RGB and brightness set to 100. Speaking of RGB, it also sports a thin adjustable LED light bar at each side.
Now we're done with the overview of these products. Let me share my actual experience using this mouse and keyboard. And for transparency, I've been using them for about 2 weeks with 10 hours of daily use on average. And within those 2 weeks of usage, I've only charged the SM800 once, and the SK961 still ran on the factory charge. So I really haven't tested how long a single full charge will last, but according to the software and as of editing this video, the SM800 still indicates a 70% battery life, while the SK961 indicates low battery levels.
Let's talk about the SK961. And full disclosure, I'm not a fan of small form factor keyboards, especially the 61 key variants. Mainly because I always edit and having the numpad around makes editing a bit easier. But I asked my sister to use this, and after using it for about an hour or so, she actually asked if she could have it after I'm done reviewing it. So there's that. Build-wise, the SK961 is quite sturdy. You can adjust the tilt height by 2 levels by adjusting the footstand. The font on the keycaps are visible enough, RGB lighting is bright and vibrant, and the battery life is actually decent. But the SK961 lacks software support. I tried googling Solakaka's website for the software but came up empty. I tried scouring Reddit for anyone who might have the software but it also came up empty. So I emailed Solakaka regarding the software support but did not get any reply. Media keys are plenty. Just refer to the manual included at the box for instructions. Again, this is a hot swappable keyboard, so this can potentially appeal to you keyboard modders out there. And of course, there can't be a mechanical keyboard review without a sound test. So here's the SK961 compared to some of the keyboards I have around.
Overall, I can see someone who likes small form factor keyboards to like this keyboard. Priced at 35 US dollars, its value is really hard to beat considering the features it brings to the table. I mean, this is a hot swappable mechanical wireless keyboard which supports a full RGB lighting. What more would you want? Now on to the SM800. Right off the bat, I can honestly say to you guys that this has to be one of the best value wireless mouse I've used in a while.
For reference, my daily driver mouse is the Logitech G Pro Wireless, and aside from the small weight difference, I had no trouble using the SM800 as it perfectly fits my grip. The SM800 was around 60 grams when I weighed it, which makes the G Pro X Superlight its direct competitor in terms of weight. But I do have some issues with the mouse. The clicker feels and sounds heavy, and the skates are much more draggy compared to the G Pro Wireless, which is not necessarily a bad thing depending on the user. I very much prefer the DPI selector to be on top of the mouse instead at the bottom like the G Pro Wireless has. And as mentioned earlier, the SM800 already has a Type-C connector, unlike both G Pro Wireless and G Pro X Superlight, which still has a micro USB connector. Oh, and of course the pricing. The SM800 is only $40 US. And for that price, you can get 2 SM800s for the price of a G Pro Wireless or 3 SM800s for the price of a G Pro X Superlight. So here's my pros and cons on the SM800 and the SK961. Overall, there's not a lot of bad things to be said about these peripherals. In fact, I added bad branding on the cons just to lengthen the list.
So there you have it, two PC peripherals which you can buy for under $40 US, which offers great value. And with the holidays coming up, you might want to consider getting these for your gamer buddies. Links to where you can buy this will be down in the description. That's it for me. See you guys on the next one.